Hey everyone, this is Patrick, and I wanted to go over 4 metal releases that came out on Friday, March 31st. I actually listened to 5 releases from this past Friday, but I am saving my thoughts on one of them because I'm going to give it a full review treatment. So hopefully you will see that full review treatment soon. All right, let's begin. So, a big release in death metal. This was a anticipated release for a lot of my friends on Metal Twitter and Metal Instagram, talking about the latest full length from Command. This was their first album on 20 Buck Spin. They are from Los Angeles, California, and Command give you this sort of bolt thrower style, mid-tempo death metal. Other, you know, other bands that I think of, maybe let's see, Outer Heaven, but not as aggressive, and Undeath. I hear a lot of influence as well in this band Command. So it turns out my favorite music from this band are actually the 2 demos they put out, because I don't like this very much. I probably should have given it a 7. They probably deserve a 7, but I kind of was, it was a big letdown for me. And in a field of, and I hate to think of it as a field as in terms of competition, so I don't really mean this, but in a crowded scene of death metal, modern death metal acts right now, you got to do more to stand out for me. Yeah, so 6.9 out of 10 for this Command album, Death Age, but do check it out because they play a style that you're going to find something to bang your head to at the very least. Okay, next up is a New Zealand-based black metal band, Old Throne, and this is their second album called In the Land of Ghost. 9 tracks, 48 minutes of music. This is atmospheric black metal. There's some folk influences as well. There are more than a few tracks where you hear recorder, which is a type of flute, or you hear bagpipes. The black metal, I kind of think of Transylvanian Hunger actually when I re-listened to this album for the second time. The production on this, speaking of, the production on this is not very good. It's muddy, and I think I would have liked to have heard this with better production. I am giving it a 7.5 out of 10, and I will return to this album sometime later in this year, though I'm not necessarily eager to do so right now. Next up are Rotten Sound, a grindcore band from Finland. This is their album Apocalypse, came out on Season of Mist. Grindcore, so you're getting 18 tracks, almost 21 minutes of music. I kind of think of the hardcore band Trap Them, plus Exhumed, a little bit of Nomas, and you get Rotten Sound. So I listened to this a time and a half so far, and the first time I thought it was an 8, and I didn't enjoy what I got through on my second listen as much, so much that's so much the case that I had to bump it down 3 decimal points to 7.7, but this is a good album. It can go up. I could very easily see this go up as opposed to go down anymore. I could see it staying here. 7.7 is a good score. This is a solid grindcore album that I do hope I get to play fairly soon. Again, next up is the final album I'll be talking about in this edition of First Reactions is the band Spirit Possession. This is the album called Of the Sign. out on Profound Lore Records. This band's from Portland, Oregon, and you get 9 tracks, almost 42 minutes of music. This features Steve Peacock from Altar, and he does guitars and vocals with Altar, and he does guitars and vocals here. And I had the opposite reaction on my second listen to this as opposed to Rotten Sound. So this at first was somewhere in the mid 7s. I wanted to like it more than I did, maybe even low 7s. But by my second listen, it just clicked. It clicked with me instantly. I shouldn't say instantly. I mean pretty much right away on my second listen. These riffs are weird. It almost sounds like a different dimension version of Altar. I love Steve's guitar riffing style. I think of the band Possessed. Let me share with you a tweet that I did, because as I said in one of my earlier versions of this series, that I started out on Metal Twitter. I love Metal Twitter. I will stay on Metal Twitter as long as it is a thing. I do first reactions on Metal Twitter, and this is what I said when I first listened, or sorry, after my second listen of this Spirit Possession album. So I already said most of this. Steve gives you those Tom Warrior oofs. The riffs are just awesome. The song composition and album flow is quite good. Even though I said it has good flow, I don't really care for the second interlude or the outro. For fans of Possessed, Seven Churches is kind of how I feel about this album. This is a cool album. I like it a lot. Glad I revisited it after my first listen, because it didn't make sense to me on my first listen. I couldn't grab a hold of the riffs. It kind of sounded messy, and now I think it kind of sounds, not messy, but sort of the positive, a positive version of messy. It kind of just sounds loose and fun in that black metal kind of way. And yeah, these were my thoughts on these 4 albums from Friday, March 31st, 2023. See you in the comment section. Stay heavy.